final day of April, Tuesday, April 30th, 2024. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. Florida will impose a ban on abortion after 6 weeks of pregnancy beginning Wednesday, a day the Biden campaign hopes will start galvanizing enough voters in the Sunshine State. Susan Ferricchio reports the president's campaign is suddenly making a play for the state since a state Supreme Court ruling paved the way for the 6-week limit to start May 1st. The president visited Tampa last week, his second trip to the state this year, to highlight the looming limits on abortion. And the campaign has opened a field office in Tampa's Hillsborough County, with more offices to come across the state. Republican attempts to label the surge of migrants at the southern U.S. border as an invasion have fallen flat in the courts. Stephen Dinan reports judges say the flow of people and drugs looks less like a constitution-breaking military incursion and more like the kinds of border problems that have plagued the country for decades. Backers of the idea say it should be obvious that record numbers of illegal immigrants qualify as an invasion. But federal courts say Texas's new interpretation of its power to protect itself against alleged invasions goes far beyond the original and natural meaning of invasion and exceeds the power granted to the states by the founding fathers. Former President Trump is casting doubt over the Israel-Hamas ceasefire talks, saying Hamas can't be trusted to return hostages. In a social media post, Seth MacLachlan reports Trump claimed many of the hostages have probably already been killed by Hamas. Israel says more than 100 hostages remain in the Gaza Strip. Biden and other world leaders are hoping to get Israel and Hamas to strike a ceasefire deal that centers on freeing more hostages. A joint statement from Biden and 17 other world leaders has demanded Hamas release them without delay. A plan for the United Kingdom to pay Rwanda to accept migrants cleared its final political hurdle last week and is set to begin. Andrew Salmon reports British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's plan has the UK paying Rwanda to process and house planeloads of migrants who will then be offered settlement rights in Rwanda. Sunak pledged that the first deportation flights to Rwanda could leave in 10 to 12 weeks. Questions linger over Rwanda's ability to deal with the flow of refugees. And finally, the Marine Corps is rushing to implement a light amphibious warship to help counter Chinese military operations in the Indo-Pacific. Mike Glenn reports the medium landing ship is how Marine regiments armed with anti-ship and anti-air weapons will maneuver throughout the South China Sea, including Japan, Taiwan, and parts of the Philippines. Navy and Marine Corps leaders have called for 18 to 35 of the ships with lifespans of about 20 years. The Congressional Budget Office said 18 of the ships would cost somewhere between $6.2 and $7.8 billion. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on social media at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.